Okay, welcome to another episode of F1 News, where we always bring you an analytical perspective, but always with a hint of laughter. Speaking of which, that was a funny video you were in earlier, Mr. Johnny, that I showed you today about Lando Norris. Oh, simply lovely. All right, so let's jump
Was
into
having a nice time.
Oh, yeah. Norris is having a lifetime. His car is dialed in, looks dangerous, but we'll see. This F1 season has been up and down. As soon as people say, "Oh, Norris is back," then next week he'll do something ridiculous again. So, or maybe Verstappen will win next week. That's the way this season is scripted. But anyway, let's jump in. So, what we want to talk about today is the problems at Red Bull. So, Ted Kravitz at Sky Sports has said what I not just me, anybody with common sense would know. He said that Red Bull is playing a dangerous game if they think that by getting rid of Yuki now, that's going to solve their problem. He said that their problem is that car. Both Red Bulls, driver one, driver two, is that car is specifically most likely built for Verstappen. And Red Bull has built a one-car team, basically, where everything goes into Verstappen's the car is tailored towards how Verstappen drives, and only he can drive it, so that Yuki is having a tough time. But what Kravitz said is that Yuki's having a tough time, Checo had a tough time, who's the other one that Lawson had a tough time, people who've come before, like Ricardo, had a tough time. So it's time for them to admit it's not the driver, and getting rid of Yuki halfway through the season now because he's not driving well shows that Christian Horner is not looking at what the real problem is. And I think you know what tell us what the real problem is, Mr. Johnny. You know what the real problem is.
Well, it's from inside actually.
Yeah.
I would say it's the structure. They've lost love talent
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
Verstappen is the only superstar at the moment. Sometimes I even feel sorry for Verstappen when, like, if things go right, yeah, Verstappen is good. If things go wrong, yeah, Verstappen is bad. But actually, if things go right, it's Verstappen and the engineers. If things go wrong, it's actually both of them. Right now, there's a lot inside, that is.
Yeah.
I think things are.
And I think, but it's clear though that the problem is that car. Because as fast as Verstappen is, even though they say the car is made for him, he complains about it too. And I've said before, Verstappen is a driver; he's not a designer or engineer. So he may be giving them advice that he thinks is helping him drive better, but it's bad for the car. And I'm not trying to just Verstappen. I'm just saying that at one point he's going to have to back off, and they're just going to have to make a car for him that's balanced, like the McLaren car, where it's not made for one person. So Verstappen may have to adapt and say, "Oh, I know I like driving fronty," but driving fronty makes a car that has a low window that even he can't exploit. I think it's clear this year he's had so many problems with balance and brakes. And before in 2021 when he won, and 2022 when he won by blowouts, Newey was giving him a car that was well balanced. But then they kept tinkering with him, say, "Oh, change this," and the car has become too pointed. They can't drive like that. It's better for them to have a car where both drivers can drive well, and then he can complain about it a little bit, but he'll still win. Because he was winning by 20 or 30 seconds before the problems with his car goes. But yeah, so the point they're making is that getting rid of Yuki is not going to help. Even Verstappen said getting rid of Lawson wasn't going to help. So they should just stick with Yuki. And I know they're talking about moving Hadjar up to that car next year, but if I were Hadjar, I think I would take what's his name's advice, Nico Rosberg. Don't go. Don't fall for that. Don't go, because Hadjar will join and go beside Verstappen. Then they say Hadjar's a rubbish driver, and then he'll be out. So I think what Red Bull needs to do is fix that car and come up with a design. It's going to be hard because they've lost all the engineers. They've lost Rob Marshall, Newey, Whitmarsh. So I don't know how they're going to turn it around. But this season is just about over. They need to be focused on 2026 and finding out what the specs are for the car and take this thing seriously. I don't know how they're going to do it once again because they don't have the engineers and the staff. What do you think, Mr. Johnny?
Yeah, they have to do something of that car. We don't know how, like you said, we don't know what they're going to do. But one thing I can say that we might know, if Verstappen starts looking at another team, then I would say that that means they're not going to really do much with that car. Then Verstappen has lost trust in them. So he will start looking to another team, and like Mercedes Benz or Aston Martin. Yeah, because but if I see Verstappen, if I like next year I still see Verstappen, as in towards the end of the year or so, I still see Verstappen seated there in Red Bull, still comfortable. Then I know that maybe they are making really moves to do something to the car, and
Yeah.
that's
I hate to say it, they need somebody, man. If I was them, I'll go and get Braun. Bring somebody. Like, I don't know where's Braun. Where is he
exactly.
now?
They need somebody to. They need some real talent in the engineers.
And
They've
also
got
they
the
need to sit
talent.
down and come up with a concept. And no matter what Verstappen says, they just build the car along the line. Because we know that Verstappen, whatever car you give him, he'll drive it. He'll figure
Yeah.
out a way. Just like in Nigeria, those downforce drivers, when there's no brakes on it, no matter what, those boys behind those downforce drivers, those downforce cars, or the Muluwes, they know how to drive that shit. Give Verstappen
Ah.
any car, he'll drive it. Just make sure the car has grip and balance. If he says, "Oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
not pointy enough," just say, "Shut up." The car has grip.
Just
It has
this guy
grip.
has grips
It
balance.
doesn't have understeer.
Right.
I know
Mm-hmm.
Verstappen. What Verstappen's like an artist. He wants to push it to the limit, like Picasso. But for now, just stick with a regular car because it's more important to win championships than to be Picasso. You get my point?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but check it out, man. Do you know the race that we had yesterday? It actually became boring because Verstappen wasn't there.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
bad for
one
F1.
of the
Very bad for F1.
yeah, one of the important elements, as in he was missing there, and that interest, as in other racers were there, but he was there to. I mean,
It would have
yeah,
changed the whole complexion of the race because he would have been putting pressure on
yeah,
the Ferrari guys, and then those guys would be putting pressure on the McLaren guys. Taking him out created a vacuum in that race, a serious vacuum. What are
yeah,
your thoughts? Yeah, they
yeah.
needed him.
It's and I think you just check it out. If Verstappen actually leaves the Formula One completely, I mean, what's going from now is actually going to be quite boring. And if you look at it, as it's just
Yeah.
weird. As in,
Oh no,
yeah,
it's gonna
but
be boring because I
mhm.
didn't even care about the race anymore. I didn't even want to do a show yesterday. Like it was boring. And
Yes,
and also another thing that's hurting F1 is because Hamilton is also declining. So
yeah,
if Hamilton, imagine Hamilton was at 100% and Verstappen was at 100%, what this season would be like.
it
It
will
would
be
be like
actually
it'll be
exciting. Yeah.
a 5-way race. That's why they're changing the
Hmm.
rules next year. So next year is unknown territory because they're changing the specs. Next year is like a coin toss. Any team can win. You know what? I'm predicting that these guys will come top 3 next year. Williams is preparing for next year. Because they're making
Yeah.
serious. All the work that McLaren is doing now, they have to throw it away next year because
Wow.
it's not going to be about ground forces anymore. It's just going to be about engine power, which is why
Engine.
Mercedes.
Okay, that's what I want to find out. I mean, what exactly main thing are they changing for the rules for next?
They're
Is
going
it
to be
like
using half electric, half oil fuel for and it's going to be the engine train, and it's not going to be ground dynamics. So the cars don't have to be low anymore, and then you can make up for downforce with engine power, that type of thing, that type of, and then so it's gonna be like the era when Rosberg and Hamilton were winning.
yeah.
They're going
And
back to
whoever
those
comes up
types
on
of, yeah.
whoever can come up with a good car under the new rules
Yeah,
will be
it's going to be about
would dominate
integration of
for
the
some
engine.
time.
How powerful is the engine, and can you integrate it? So it's going to be about power rather than about
Mm.
ground effect. That's why
Ah,
Mercedes is looking good. Sometimes I wonder if Mercedes is just playing around with to get revenge on maybe they're just saying they want to sign Max just so they can be distracted at Red Bull, so the Red Bull doesn't drive well this year. I wouldn't put it past Toto Wolff. Toto Wolff and George Wolff. I said George Wolff and George Russell are very tricky people. They're sneaky, don't you think
ah.
so? Because
No, I
they
think but I think Toto Wolff really he
really want
knows
to. Yeah.
he wants a good driver, and he knows that if he has a good
I even
driver,
changed
he's
my
going
mind.
to.
It'll be good to have Verstappen and George Russell on the same team. That'll be good actually. It'll be
Yeah,
entertaining.
I think at the end of the day, that's probably what's going to happen because Russell's not going to go anywhere well, of course,
And
unless
I
I
heard that
mean
what they'll do is they'll loan out Kimi Antonelli to another team, maybe
Anthony.
even Red Bull. They'll loan him out for a year or two, then bring him back. That shit is
Yeah,
crazy. But if I were Antonelli, I like you guys. You guys are pushing me around like I'm your houseboy. Don't do this to me. Because we know that
yeah.
Antonelli is the future of F1 right now. Also, Bortoletto.
Mhm.
If you give Bortoletto a good car, Bortoletto did well
Oh yeah,
yesterday.
but Leto, that's another
Yeah.
up and bright and coming
Even
star.
Hadja, any of those guys, if you give them a good car, they're the future. All right, so that's it for today. So I say to Red Bull, keep Yuki, and also they have a point. If Verstappen leaves Red Bull will be last on the grid. They'll be last on the grid.
Yes, as in nothing for
So
them.
they kind of so they know that they're going to lose Verstappen. They need to start treating their guys like Yuki and Cole good because they're going to need them. And right now they need to have an emergency meeting, just like life. You know what it says, Mr. Johnny? if tomorrow your girlfriend leaves you and you lose your job and everything, you just relax. You know what the first thing you do? You get some tea, you get a piece of paper, and you write a plan. That's the first step in life. When you're at your lowest point, write a plan with easily achievable goals. Like, okay, I have no money today, so my plan today is just to walk throughout the city and get application. That's the only step you can do. You can't think about money until you apply for a job. So same thing.
Yeah.
I want to make more money. I got to do IT. Let me write a plan. So what I'm saying is that Red Bull, they need to cut back the chaos by just admitting that they're in trouble now. The car is slow, but now they have to move forward. They can't be moving backwards. You can't have a car that didn't have any grip this week. That was not explainable. That their car had no grip in Austria. I don't get it. What are your last thoughts before we head out? Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm just actually a bit sorry for what's his name, George Russell, because I mean, you know, when you want to work, but your guy is not ready, you're not sure whether he wants you to work, so he's like in a limbo at the moment. You know, I'm just thinking about, even I didn't care before, but now I'm just thinking
He
like,
drive that well this weekend. Yeah.
yes, but well, so
That's the
last
life of
thoughts, I
it.
think.
Yeah.
Exactly. We'll see what's going to happen in Silverstone and what's his name, Verstappen and all of them.
Yeah. So I think Verstappen will bounce back because even if he hadn't been hit from behind, he's had a lot of bad luck the past couple of weeks. That's the main thing. All right. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'll see you later. I'll send the ideas for the thumbnail now. Thanks. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Have a good one. Okay.
You too. Yo.